Welcome, everyone. Today we've got a special guest, our favorite journalist from Zim. We've got Chichi. Yeah, and as usual, we've got our legend KV, and we've got Ray, and we've got Al.
AI.
Yeah, we've been wishing to have Chichi on the show for some time now because I think we share my values akawanda concerning Zim football and our passion concerning Zim football. Tobo kweshana, but I think it's all good natured in the love for the Zimbabwean football. So yeah, welcome Chichi. And feel free to express yourself here. To not domo kapana. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So as we said earlier, I'm a Liverpool supporter. Ray is a Spurs supporter. He's a small team supporter. Then KV is a Man U supporter. He's a devil. And yeah, how forgot Bora Wakatanga 2010.
That's
Gomira Oliver. And we've got Oliver who's just joined us. Oliver, which team do you support? I'm forgetting.
Munich and Manchester United.
Oh, ish. Yeah, we're outnumbered by the Red Devils. But anyway, Chichi, how do you find yourself supporting such a small team as Chelsea?
What is sucker punch? Unga open footed, man.
Two-footed Charlie.
Oh my goodness. I started supporting Chelsea around 2003. Just prior Mourinho's era, there was a time when John Terry missed a penalty. I sympathized with them. To be honest, I was young, but then since then I've never looked back. Like, I'm a staunch Chelsea fan. Yeah.
If I'm right, you're a season ticket holder.
To be honest, I have lots of friends and groups that I belong to, football-wise, sports-wise, fellow content creators, sports journalists. I relate as well with other foreign African journalists in UK.
Yeah.
It's just a group of friends. We share tickets, swap, exchange.
Well,
I don't really need to pay for a season because I can't make it. I'm not a Londoner, so I can't make it every day. I live slightly outside London, so I don't go to football matches every match day.
It seems like you're always at a Chelsea game.
It's just because I'm just noisy.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah.
So Chelsea has just fired Maresca. I saw that you were one of the people who were calling for his head. And are you happy with Liam for now?
So far so good. 4 wins out of 5 matches, and he lost to a better team. I'm sad to say this because it's Arsenal, but he lost to a better team. And I think the goal we considered on the match that we lost was basically a mistake. Yeah, by Sanchez. Otherwise, it could have been a 50-50 match. So, yeah, I'm happy with Liam. I'm happy with the black coach at Chelsea. I'm also happy I support black coaches in the Premier League as well, in general. I support black players in the Premier League as well. At the same time, I looked at it as an opportunity the same way Arteta had a chance to coach Arsenal when no one gave him a chance. The same way Liam was given the big thrones for Chelsea when no one gave him a chance. So I'm backing him full time. Yeah. And the decision to fire Maresca was the best decision for us. We needed that change. I was tired, like I indicated.
Interesting. So where do you hope Chelsea would finish this season? Do you think they are in for the Champions League spots?
We will finish in the top 4. As a Chelsea staunch supporter, I'll say
the confidence.
Like I said, as a staunch Chelsea fan, didn't you hear that part as well? We are in the Champions League and today we are playing Napoli. It's going to be a very tricky match, but I know Chelsea when it comes to big games. I know Chelsea when it comes to, even at our worst form, I know Chelsea at big games, and we have seen this before. Dismantling PSG, Barcelona. So I'll give them a benefit of the doubt. We'll be in the Champions League top 8, and I'm not too sure about the second leg of the Carabao because we are facing Arsenal away from home, and Arsenal are really strong. Like I said, I had to say it, I had to admit it, but Arsenal are now a bit organized. And they've been playing together for quite some time with a very strong backline. And I think they are in a better place than us. We are likely to, it'll be a matter of luck if we triumph at the Emirates. But as far
Before,
as I know, Chelsea will
yeah,
definitely be in the top four. We'll face our chances in the Champions League. You know,
lovely.
the Champions League, I also feel like it's also a matter of luck to play to top the charts as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
not knowing about the current format, but that will triumph definitely.
Okay, lovely. Before I hand you over to the other guys, do you have what's your favorite Zimbabwean team? I've never figured that out.
My family team, I'll put it rightly that way. My family team is Cape United, like born and bred there.
Okay, Pula.
For the
Yeah.
first time, I agree with you.
You know it. You know
The
it.
family team, I am very regular. I do not hide it. I have regular jerseys. I had recently had a photo shoot with our current jerseys. And my
I'm
family,
invited.
it's a family team, to be honest. So somehow you can't get escape.
Yeah. Gents.
Kevin.
You play.
Kev, he played for Cape United, and you
Do you
expect
know?
him to support Dynamos.
Do you know
He's
the?
a Timbari fan. No?
They played for more than one
That's
club.
the weird thing. My whole family, apart from my uncle, who was the firstborn in my mom's family, he was a Cape United fan. Everyone else, including myself, were diehard Dimbari fans. And then I played for Cape United, and that was strange. It's still strange because even now, I think I support both of them to an extent. To be honest, it's as crazy as it sounds, but that's what I still have, Dynamos from the Kingsgate sponsorship era, which, the older ones would know. Until now, it's always been a team that I've always wanted to do well. Then, Cape Squad So, to be honest, I can't tell you, I kind of just fall in between the two, to be honest.
Okay, lovely. Anything for Chichi? And Chichi, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to always come in as well.
Yeah.
Because it's a free discussion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Kev, anything for Chichi?
Well, okay. I will. Okay. There's so many questions, but I think probably let's start with the National Sports Stadium. Yeah. As obviously this has been an issue which has been going on for a long time, and I think we in a position, most of us, where we really don't know what's happening, because the last time any official information was shared, we heard that it was 65% finished. There were little bits here and there that needed to be done. Would you have any knowledge of whether we on 75? Are we on 80%? Are we on 90% on the pitch? Is there any information out there, that probably we haven't had, regarding that you might share?
Yeah. So I'm a random thinker and I prefer having conversations online. I can just start a story about legends and everyone will hang in. So I started this about stadiums 2 days ago. I'm like, where are we? And we are hearing about a new stadium being constructed. And obviously it touched lots of probably bloggers and news readers and all. I don't think we are in a position to be hosting matches anytime soon. I saw a video circulating today by ZTN. The reason why I'm tagging or giving credit to ZTN is probably I know they are a credible source when it comes to sports news on the ground. So we all saw the video, and it was said to be recent, like today or yesterday, and there isn't much going on. From what I saw, we don't even have maybe an electronic board. And these are some of the CAF regulatory, probably the easiest CAF regulatory mandates on what we need. Be it bucket seats. I don't know how long is it going to take to bring bucket seats wherever we are importing them from. And even if we are shipping, I don't think shipping bucket seats from China would take 6 weeks. From my own basic understanding of moving and handling of stuff. So if they wanted to make it happen, it could have happened even last year. But as we speak, we are still stuck on the same place. I don't see it functioning by March when we are hosting friendly matches.
It's a sore point. I think I
Can
saw the video.
can I just jump in there?
Yeah, come in.
You see, I'm just saying that I'm sure you guys know it now. The dam are most intrigued by the drum. Buti, every time people talk about our football in National Sports Stadium, you make sense out of it as we go. Every time we talk about our football, talk about how are we going to play at home. Every time the question about sports stadium comes out, we are shown pictures and then we are told it's 65% improvement. You see, you need to understand something when we use, percentages to grade things. If say, let's say for instance, unemployment, right? You know that if 200,000 people get a job, that percentage can only be 2%. So when you get to 65, what you're actually telling us when you say it's 65%, what you're telling us is that this field is already there. When you get to 65%, you're telling us this field is already there. You're now waiting for the minor alterations here and there, for this, simple checks and to approve it. But what I saw, because Sifa Shimedza posted this thing, I'm telling you, I looked at that and I said to myself, go ground up to 65% here. There was nothing on that field to show there's work going on. If there's work going on, you see the signs. You see the signs. There's absolutely nothing. And then people say, and then those machines were 65%. And there are people who actually clap hands for that. Why? Because someone somewhere up there says 65%. And then they take that as it is, could eat 65%. If you question Obanzi, but you see, Borarelu, where we are, every country, look at the stadiums that were playing in AFCON. This is one country that had those stadiums. Look, did you see those things? It's one country playing those is one country owning those stadiums. Isusu, we are still looking at National Sports Stadium, and we are hoping to host other tournaments like COSAFA or the AFCON, for instance. Why are we focusing just on National Sports Stadium? Why can't we improve Mfaro? Why can't we improve Baba Fields? Why can't we improve other stadiums? But bottom line is that, like Chichi said, we are going nowhere slowly. We are going nowhere slowly regarding National Sports Stadium. Ground area, that kid will turn 5. That stadium will still be in that state. I am telling you, because we go back to the basic fundamentals. It has nothing to do, or anything. It has to do administration, yacho, whoever is in charge of those fields, whoever is in charge of like I said before my podcast, we have the wrong people in the wrong positions. Some positions we're supposed to be overlooking our grounds in our football. Let's start and accept that. For starters, Van are more opportunities, to get funding here and there. My GD6. Because if we had Van Bora, if we had people who are passionate about the football, people who are passionate about seeing the country rise up, as it is right now, we've got exciting youngsters, and that even South Africa is talking about them. The whole continent is talking about these youngsters. But guess what? These boys have no stadium. When they say, well, I'm going home to play for my country, Havana Stadium. So where's the pride in that? Where's the pride in that? Hatina one pride in passion is, if we did, these guys would push with stadium repair, but Atina, and but we've always been, people have been intrigued by the drum. Ngoma ikarira at.
Yeah, can I add on to that? I did a program called FIFA CI Sports Management course in South Africa at Nelson Mandela University. Part of the course has a module, or rather, where you do practicals. The practicals include or involves going to sporting facilities and any sporting infrastructure that's in the country. So in South Africa, we used to go and watch maybe Chipa United, where Nelson Mandela is. We could go to rugby stadiums and all. I'm just wondering, now that they've launched it in Zimbabwe yesterday, Kuti, where will be the students going to see infrastructure and sporting facilities in Zimbabwe? I'm just curious. If you can't renovate, we are not building. If you can't renovate the National Sports Stadium, and we have a whole FIFA international course coming on board in the middle of the country in Gweru, where are we going to tour? I'm just looking at the infrastructure with our hockey stadium, Chitungiza Aquatic Complex, the National Sports Stadium itself. I can write a book. So I'm just wondering, maybe Shawanda Stadium, but that one is not even CAF gazetted. So, what's coming? Yeah. I'm just wondering.
I think it's Chichi, it's good that you have brought this sports management course about. What's ZIFA's involvement in it? We were told that it's a ZIFA and FIFA and MSU Like, what's the combination between the three of them? How is each
Okay.
and every organization involved?
Yeah, I stand corrected, but ZIFA conducts this program in 12 countries. I think they are increasing. I'm not so sure by now. In Africa, there used to be two countries, Egypt and South Africa. In Egypt, it was Cairo, and South Africa was at Nelson Mandela University. But now they've added another Southern African country, which is Zimbabwe, probably because they're expanding. The reason why you see that there's MSU, ZIFA, FIFA/CIS is the name. Don't be bothered about that. My certificate from Nelson Mandela says NMU, SA, FIFA, CIS. You know what I mean?
No.
So
Okay.
it just shows a region. It's just like ZIFA doesn't really have anything to do. You realize that no one at ZIFA handles those academic courses, but it's the partnership of
Thought
the
as much.
country. Yeah, it's not a ZIFA project. They are part of them. Anna Dr. Maramba Mnyika, probably being the academics, are part of it,
Yeah.
and that's his region. Probably that's why he's one of the coordinators and all, by convenience and region wise. But it has nothing to do with Nchinche ZIFA or
Yeah.
FIFA are straightforward. You don't
Okay.
cheat. Things
So
are
when
done
you
in black and
taigona
white.
uzoinzwa kayakubuda pama-elections kuti
yeah,
magwiza
Nah.
Dinda
akaintroduce
comes
sports
in.
management.
So
But
when you
guys,
did it,
but
Chichi,
guys, I'm of
what
a different opinion. Whether it's good or it's bad, the mere fact that there is ZIFA there, it says also a lot. Probably it's going to ignite a sense of them being professional to realize that their name is being used. Because remember, it's branding and it's their name that is coming out. You cannot continue to become Bodza when your name is actually appearing on a certificate. By the way, I was also at Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University at Somerset, Summerstrand. But every time that I take out that certificate, I'm actually proud to say I went to PE, and I was at NMMU. So anyone who's going to do that course by hook or by crook would also appreciate Kuti ZIFA's name is there. But Ghana, ZIFA is really right. If ZIFA is not okay, even the holders of the certificate will actually be afraid of taking it out. Can I also go back and say, Guti, when people are talking about 65% of national sports stadium being okay, what is 65%? And how do you measure 65%? Probably Wafana statistics
yeah.
from America would actually tell us, Guti, what is the 65%? Because if you look at my buckets, the whole stadium doesn't have buckets. The turf is not there. The toilets are not there. The billboard is not there. People are not even interested in doing that. Do you know the rate at which we are trying to revive National Sports Stadium is slower than the rate at which the sons of Israel were actually moving from Egypt to go to because if we are to be very honest, we are going to have this year no pera again, people still talking about buckets. Because remember, if somebody campaigned to be a ZIFA president using that as a yardstick. Ndoba patoti among my elections, my councillors and my councillors are aware. Personally, anything that has actually happened. And I tell
So
you that
did you not
I tell you,
overpromise?
people are going to campaign again using that to get into office.
But did you not overpromise? Because does ZIFA have any say in terms of stadium, or ZIFA chanokonsangoita ku encourage out to put a bit of pressure to have another stadium or Trikuda stadium? But the actual people who control my stadium is the SRC, which is under the Ministry of Sports. So when the ZIFA president was campaigning at Chansa Stadium, was he not overpromising something Chaska Kwanso deliver?
Can I get out of my sack,
Yeah,
Saga?
budam saga, Sha, budam saga.
I don't want to dampen your thoughts, but munani contract yeku constructor National Sports Stadium. And vanhu ivava vatori mukatikati me-association yenyu vari mukatikati me-SRC. And part of the money yamakashandisa through all the campaigns yange iriyo mari yamakapiwa kuvaka stadium early last year, but makaishandisa to use to campaign and do all sorts of stuff with a very highly rated
You're
SRC
going
member.
nowhere slowly.
Vari
At
two.
one array.
Yeah, because
That's a shock. Manje,
So,
you know, I'm just going to pull a joke here because with what Ray said, talking about wautodutanga kunotsvaga musikana panyohwani, you posted mozoita mwana mozoita nhumbu after a year, then mozoita mwana, then mozoita 5 years. So on on a serious note, though, that's sort of worrying and deflating as well, because you then realize, Kuti, where we're having expectations, of every time we're saying maybe this is it, when you always give the benefit of the doubt and you're thinking, but we can't go any lower than we have. From here now, someone has got to do something right. And then you have information like this, and it ties in with exactly what's happening. And you put yourself in a situation where you're wondering, is it ever going to happen? When are we going to have a national sports stadium? And people talk about the national team, and people talk about but all these kids are from from the diaspora, and who you need to incorporate into the team, and young lads coming in, and we think that we're still going to operate in this way. And we expect, some of them, they're looking from afar and thinking, is this what I really want to get myself into? Because you tell me any incentive that we show for a player who probably we're enticing to play for Zimbabwe, and we say, this is where we're going. What exactly do we show them, other than the fact that you're just going to wear a Zimbabwean shirt and play in South Africa or Botswana as your home ground? It's really deflating, but it's what it is.
Yeah.
But
You guys,
Ray, when you talk about capture in football, what do you mean? You were in you are captured, you are actually complaining very soon. My reflex are captured. But now when we have somebody who is at the core, at the apex of the executive, nemumwe ari SRC ane kambani yacho iyoyo achibata the country at ransom, dictate kuti bhora rinofanirwa kuperera zvaka. We are putting our nation in the hands of a few. Can we conclusively say Boredu is captured?
Chichi, that's your question. Or Ray.
it's Ray's
It's not
They are
rocket. Honestly, don't rocket science. Don't rocket science for someone for anyone to realize, Kuti, Bora Radio is captured. Bora Radio has been captured for a while now. Let me tell you, Kuti, in where I started seeing Kuti, Abakaba, if you question people, munhu support are you sure? I'm telling you, for a simple question like, are you sure this person is the right man for the job? Why? Andika, why is a leopard spotted like that? When was a leopard spotted like that? Why? If you ask Kuti, why do you think this guy is right for the job? I didn't ask you that. I asked you, Kuti, why is this guy? Why do you think he's the right person for the job? We are getting people who are not
for football
people. We are getting people who are coming there because they are connected. Anongo where because he's connected and then he gets the job. Once he's there, I just man. You work at an organization where the owner's son does not come. And then the father passes away. And then he takes over because he's the heir to the throne. Isusuka, we need to move from using my MCBI. We need to go to RCDs. Favorite, there's always favorite a cheerleader. The first question I'm going to ask him is, MCB, MCB. So what I'm just saying is, that we have. And this year, what has just been said, the guy who won the contract at the stadium. I'm telling you, and these are the guys who wake up tomorrow and tell you we're at 65%. Who is he defending when he tells you 65%? He's defending himself. At Isuzu to Atati, ratio is 65%. Does that look like 65%? So we're always going to be playing home games away from home. And guess who suffers in all that? The supporters at home, the fan base. We have a large fan base at home. But how many will travel to South Africa? How many travel to Botswana to go and watch the team play? So, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I add on to that? I'm just thinking, how much does it cost for us to host home matches away from home? I'm considering hotels probably at home where maybe you could have had free rainbow towers for free, right? Free services by fellow bus companies, if possible,
Yeah.
maybe government buses. And we are in South Africa, we are hiring from buses, food, hotels, any facility is borrowed, including the stadium itself on the usages with South African councils. So I'm looking at the amount that is being used per match. We have had even some of these back-to-back matches where we play in South Africa, in Durban, and then the next thing you're playing Lesotho in Polokwane. These are just back-to-back matches. And they FIFA gazetted matches where they require maximum security and all the requirements. And they demand a lot, be it from security or your transport, what you're expected to be giving, even the host, the revisiting nations, because in Dimuru and a whole lot more. Maybe I think too hard. I just feel like we have what is called self-inflicting pain, where we feel like we can manage an away game. Yeah, Buddha about 30K, 40K, 50K, if not more, right? And when we can just channel the same energy into fixing what we don't have back home, I'm also looking at this. This is outside the players' salaries and welfare. Kuti munobuda mari pakadaro. How difficult is it? Ngoti Maria munoshandisa back-to-back matches. You just go and say, okay, this is going to fix our billboards, shower drama bucket seats, our consignment of all the stuff that we are importing. I don't understand the maths around the thinkers of our football leaders. I don't get it.
Can I go off track? Last time in Facebook Zimbabwe, the guy didn't like Ananzanu.
Please.
ZIFA president was down to run my players was time the national team. The next thing I done him under 15 or something. And I saw mechanic. Look, I'm not saying 100% is the guy, but I'm saying if someone makes a step in the right direction, we need to applaud that. For him to go and talk to that youngster, I've always been saying, why are we not talking to these boys now? Because there's no better time than now. Why are we not talking to these boys now? And he went and watched Jethro play Kumado.
Yeah.
And then now he's Mabaya. Mvana is never, you see, I like the trajectory he's taking. Kuti, he's taking, going to see these boys, having a chat with them as the coach, not Kuti, and everything he's doing. No one's being told Kuti what they discussed. But in a picture, obviously he's talking to them. And this is what I've been crying for. Let the national team coach go and talk to these boys. Don't influence his decision. Let him talk to who he wants to talk to. And then all we need to do, this is where I applaud Marshall Gore. Gore knows these boys. This is where Mashi should give me a list. Na Ethan Sunderland, Wolves. Tinama Hovo, Wolves. Shami, Chelsea. Let him talk to these boys. Let him sell himself to them as the coaching. This is who I am. This is what I want to do. I want to go there and I want you in my plans. Because if we look at our players abroad, pound for pound, from under 15, 16, Zimbabwean kids, I'm telling you, we can in capital letters, we can have some of the strongest teams in Africa, pound for pound, who are Zimbabwean that are over there, that are playing. But you see, it's a problem. Like we said, right now, Mira Msaseke, let me finish. Right now, we should be looking at under 20, we should be looking at under 23, right? Under 17, under 20, under 23. Why these are very critical. These are very critical setups to the outcome of the national team. These are the feeder for the national team. Okay? You need to understand, if you understand football, you know what I'm talking about. Under 15, 17 feeds under 20. Under 20 feeds under 23. Under 23 feeds the national team. Right now, look at the boys we have, under 23. My favorite, Wimfano Yanza no Kuzu. One time is brilliant, one time Mandazika, our Moses Chunga, that one. 23. Jethro, best survivor. These boys could be starting under 23. And then Jones Zimbabwe is bringing a national team. And then you see the same boys. I'm telling my team, look at, is it Morocco? They've got fun. That youngster, he's only 20, 21, but he's starting good national team. He's starting good club. You see, we need to be putting these structures in place. And if we are doing that, who's our under 20 coach? Who's our under 23 coach? Under 17. Why? I keep seeing the same names. I'm sorry. I don't like. So that wonder now. I keep seeing under 17. I keep seeing the same names. And I'm thinking, are they the only kids that play football in this country? Or are they the only kids that play football, known as Zimbabweans. But Ukarata, if you go to the UK, guys, you'll be told, Panachimana Chakabuda Manji, he plays for Akazuita injury. He's only 17. He was starting Mutimio. You remember the light-skinned kid with his last name is Dlamini,
Nathan
with
Dlamini.
dreadlocks. Yes, yes. You
Rovers.
see, this, I'm thinking, Kuti, we shouldn't be like race horses blinkered. Race horses need more blinkers.
I actually think,
Yeah.
with that, you've actually, instead of saying you've gone off track, I think that we already
the
into
next
something
thing.
that was already
Yeah.
on the list. So I think my question, that I will pose to Chichi, if you don't mind, would you want to, discuss with us, what the Marinica trip?
I will say this as a journalist in my position. I understand Marinica is visiting our Zimbabwean national team players abroad, which I applaud, like what Ray said. I understand he made Tawanda. Before I say this, I really feel that our national team selection has so many influences and so many push factors to what the coach picks. Marinica, whether I am on his side or not, he was on this job for less than, 33 days before we went for AFCON.
Yep.
And he had met our national team on 3 occasions, 2 friendly matches against Saudi Arabia and Qatar. All right. And the next one, was it a friendly match before AFCON, I think? So he only saw these boys for 3 matches, realistically.
Just 2 games.
Just 2 games. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And then he was in the deep end at AFCON, where he was expected to make decisions to make the team win, right? I have a strong conviction, and I believe that some of his decisions were influenced, right? I don't want to pick names. I don't want to talk about people, but he had someone telling him at the back of his mind. And I also feel like, for some reason, I was rushing him for the decisions he made against certain players, benching Tawanta, some of the foreign-based players, being amateurish players with less exposure with the national team. But at the same time, you also realize that it wasn't his fault. He basically did not know much about them. And he was also relying on certain people. I'm telling you, it's just a matter of time. I'm yet to peruse more information. I'm going to dig deep into 1 or 2 people that I know have a voice on our national team selection. I say things straight up and I mention them, and I'm not
Please do.
intimidated by that. Yeah. I feel like he was under the influence of being, or rather, or should I say coerced? Or he had people telling him that play A, B, C, D. Why do I
Yeah.
say so? There's consistency in how certain people or players are treated with our national team. I can single out Tawanda Chirewa. He's like treated like a problem child, right? It's consistent with Niz. It's now consistent. It's a bit consistent now with
Yeah.
Mario as well.
Just continue there.
Rikui maintainer.
Yeah.
With every coach achauya munoziva kuti kuna vanhu vari so toxic zvekuti akasada munhu, whether it's in good faith, whether it's wrong or so, pane patori nevoice that's speaking behind the coach. I really feel like my decisions nemaresults akazouya for Marinica, with some other players proving him wrong, I really feel he feels bad. He knows kuti he made a mistake. He said kuteerera vanhu kana kuita madecisions ake emusoro. We can't blame him for his methodology. We can't really put the blame on him on who he opted to pick. Out of his selection, first 11 or anyone akatamba, right, representing our national team, I felt like it was on surface value. Remember, tataura kuti nakuwana experience, but ane vamwe vanhu vanenge achivaudzira kuti tambisa ningizo vachisiya, because the treatment is consistent. Tawanda anoshaya passport the other time. Atambi. Tawanda is being benched. You can actually tell that there's an agenda against certain players, and it's pitched. The reason why I end up being very vocal or low-key backing our foreign-based players, because the voice story, and I know how crap people on the ground can be dirty. You know what I mean? So we keep posting and sharing these things as little as telling them that Jordan Zemura has started a match and is his assistant. Do you think they don't know? They do. But we want to be vocal and let it be known, because we are not stupid. So I also feel like Mario made his mistakes, and I'm happy probably he could be in the process of rectifying them. I feel like his trip to the United Kingdom is a noble one. Like Ray said, he's meeting these players, engaging them and talking to them. In Birmingham, there was this young guy, he plays for Birmingham City.
Yeah.
He has played for the national team, I think, at the COSAFA. There was
Yeah.
also a young player from Warsaw as well. These are would-be players. They will be featuring, under 17, under 20. And I feel like that's the right direction if we maintain that consistency in creating relationships with these players. It may not only be the young ones, even those probably players like Tendai Darikwa and some other people who have been involved with our national team. It'll be good. It'll be a good thing for him to reach out. I know this process has been done before, but Niz had his own ways of doing things. And now this guy, with only 12 months on his contract, is also doing his own thing. So we have to respect it. We don't want him to cry over lack of time from andinakuwana time yekuona ma-players andinakuwana support. Arikuita zvese zviri kudiwa and is getting that support. So the UK trip is a very noble one. I also feel like it will also iron out. It will also gel, kana pakaita bond. I was privileged to be part of those people who were part in Birmingham when Marinica came to. He had conversations with Tawanda. He had conversations with even our captain as well. Conversation yakutaura at the heat of the moment, when people are outside the pitch. They will understand each other, they will commiserate, they will find each other, and I feel like it's noble. But the only red flag on that guy is that he has a 12 months contract and I don't understand it.
I think, I think it's, it really, I think that's a good thing, but, I think you mentioned, things that will reverberate, with people, obviously, who will be watching this because they get to understand as well, where exactly we are, because there's too many assumptions out there. And when there's too many assumptions, people stick to what they want. But I think it's well known that obviously that I've always sort of defended the coach, and it wasn't out of sort of anything personal because I don't know him that way. But I think my coaching part of it, what tells me that when you're in a situation like that, it's not as straightforward as people think, And the most difficult part is when you haven't had time with the players, and the only way that you can get away with this is try to lean on to other people who have already been there. The problem now with leaning on people who have already been there is if they already have agendas, even if they don't have agendas, if they see that that's your weakness, the fact that you don't know these players, why they then try to put what is of interest to them. Yeah. And now they will convince you that what they're doing, because at the end of the day, they give you information, but remember, the buck stops with you. You trust them and you play the players that they want you to play. But the fans are not looking at who assisted you in that. They're saying it's you who put these players, but they don't realize that the lack of knowledge that he has, because he's only been there for a very short time. Imagine he came in, and at the time that he came in, he's got 55 players. Can you hand on heart say that he knew exactly how good or bad these players were, the ones he dropped, to stay with 28? How long did he have to actually understand, how good or bad these players are? So that's where it comes back to what you said. There is people in there, where I think if those people are not removed from that setup, either, in fact, it goes two ways. It's either they're removed from that system, or Marinica has got to be the strongest coach possible, where he's going to say, it's my way or the highway, and I'm not going to take any cue from anyone. You're going to help me in this, but now that I know these players, I'm going to do A, B, C, D. It doesn't need, an assistant becomes an assistant, and not an assistant making decisions, but then the decisions fall onto the main man. I think
I need to
Marinica has got to be strong.
To add something on that, Kevi, I had a brief conversation with Marinica, and I'm very deliberate with my inquiries and what I need to know. I'm like, do you regret anything that you've done? No, I didn't. I asked him, okay, what's next? I mean, do you now have an insight into the players that you know? He will tell you everything. He knows everything. Trust me.
Okay.
He has his own database. He was telling me about Zimbabwean players I haven't seen, I haven't watched. He
Wow.
will tell you that Nise played. I'm telling you, I'm saying this. You know, after having a conversation with him, it's like I'm low-key fighting in his own corner now. The reason why I'm saying there are certain influences, there are certain pressures that came from probably the previous setup where he couldn't really
Yeah.
pick what he wants. But haana kutombopusa zvekudaro. Marinica atori
Okay.
nedatabase rese foreign based players ese amusingatombofungiri, including the Americans ones. The
Really?
ones ari kunanami anawo, and he has them. And he'll tell you, kuti he was, well, this is probably,
Oh,
it
he
could
has
have
a
been
scouting background
private
and it
conversation, but
as well.
he has an idea. He knows. He knows. Do you watch the matches? I don't need to watch the matches. I'll go and check the statistics. Did he play? What time? What time was he substituted? Did he score? He knows. He sees these
Wow.
things. And I feel like when I say I think he learned from his mistakes and he's taking it head on. I'm low-key vouching for him. Please get me right on this day. I'm vouching for him on the next match.
Yeah. Oh,
I think
Can I sorry Al, can I just jump in? Kevi, when you say you know, he has to be, if those the influencers are not removed, he has to be headstrong. You know what you reminded me of? You remember John Rugg, that coach John Rugg. Remember when he picked a squad, there's a midfielder by the name Alois Godzi. I'm sorry if you guys don't know him. There was so much talk. I think it was under 2023 or something, because they were saying, hey, discipline, what. But you know what John Rugg did? He called Alois Godzi. They did one-on-one. He tried to bus. I tell you what happened after that. Godzi gave a masterclass performance. Vanoziva bora, you know who Alois Godzi is. If you don't, I'm sorry, it's okay. Bora. But what I'm saying is,
Maybe I wasn't born.
yeah, sorry about that, Chichi. If you don't know him, I'll forgive you. You know, what I'm saying is, John Rugg put the stand like a bit saying, he said, okay, enough of this. I'm going my way. I'm the coach. I'm going my way. And he took Alois Godzi. And you know what he got from the guy? He got 120%. So it will come to, so like Chichi said, if this guy is database, which means and remember, OJ, when we're talking about
yeah.
gang war, Fast and Furious football.
Yeah.
I said it, that we impress the approach here. He's smart. You can tell from the way this guy started playing. That's why he brought Jonah. You know, for him to bring and put Jonah with some Zukuru Payaka, it wasn't from without Itambejet. No, he knew that I needed someone at calm. He is calm. I know just waiter. No, by I knew, but you see, a guy like that, give him time. But for us to get the best out of him, my influencers, I need to go. Even now, personally, yes, you can go against them. It normally is hard to go against the grain. You know, it's always hard to go against the grain. But I feel, they need to be uprooted. You know, separate the wheat and the chaff. Let the wheat stay there. I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this.
Yeah.
Because we're going nowhere slowly. Surely.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think problem yakatangira kuti pakupiwa 1 year contract. Anopiwa 1 year contract 33 days just before a tournament, right? A tournament yekuti haasi kuziya kana a single player. He hasn't even, some of them he hasn't even met them at all. But he's supposed to win a tournament, right? Oenda ku tournament kuya. And then he loses how many games did he lose? 2? He loses 2 games and he draws 1.
He lost 2.
Yes. So he's already got 2 losses on his record in non-friendly games, right? As was Asara Nimangani, Pani March, the international break. I think there's another one in June and then in November. By November, contract yake yapera kudara. So what was the thinking behind giving him only 1 year? Muruda kumuasesa pama games chaiwo kuti munonyasoona his capabilities, because after the tournament, show us what you've got. Let's see where you go from here. But before his contract expires, is that contract going to be renewed?
Yeah.
Who knows? Because it doesn't make sense to nopa a coach 1 year.
I think
Progress.
Yeah.
Because stability, the game is very important.
Yeah. I think last time when we had Mashi here, I kind of leaned towards that question: who gets to make the decisions? Kuzifa kuti, okay, we want to fire Niz. We now want Mario. Why do we want Mario? for how long do we want him, and how is he going to implement, and how are we going to help him implement whatever he wants to implement so that the team can go forward. So how long are we going to give him with those resources, and which players are we going to give him who play according to that playing style, or are we going to grow our youngsters from the under-20s to the under-23s to the senior team so that they can grow into the playing style of your coach? And that process doesn't take a year. It takes at least 4 years for you to then have an established playing style. So I asked Mashi when he came by Bekuti, okay, who is the head of the technical team ZIFA who gets to make these decisions? Who are part of that technical team at ZIFA who gets to make these decisions? And how experienced are they, and how knowledgeable are they at the highest stage of football in the world, so that they are able to improve us from where we are to the next step? Because I'm sorry if I'm going to mention a name. If we have Takutswa Benza there, and I hear he's a finance guy, he's a very brilliant finance guy, but as a head of a technical team of ZIFA, what technical qualities is he bringing to ZIFA? Zvinobatsira bhora, not financial things. Technical team, nodamunani UEFA Pro, or someone who's got knowledge of technical things. ZIFA zvafana kuChelsea kuna Emelano, kuna Emelano, izvozvi kuna that lady, is it Marian, that lady who does the director of football staff. Nana Liverpool, we have Nana Michael Edwards, people who Anna Richard Hughes, people who deal with mainly the football side. And then they've got my commercial directors who then deal with the commercial side and the business side. Even Man City, we have got, there's that guy Mboako Anestaranska couldn't pronounce, who's mainly a football person. Then there's a commercial team that's there. But because ZIFA Izvoji, we've got a Takutswa Benza. I'm sorry to mention his name, but what pedigree does he have technically in terms of football for him to be able to improve us in football terms? So that's where the fault is. I don't know what you guys think.
This is where in Iniga, I'm going to start with Al a little bit. Al talked about stability, and if you want to get a feel of what coach who you influence yake in the team, how far is it gone? You ask the players. When they asked Ichimfana, my favorite, Chirewa, Wakamuti, what's your take for this team? Do you know what he said? I'm going to quote what he said. I hope they let us play together longer. You need, a statement ikataurwa. Dig into that statement, dissect the statement, break it apart, and try and see where is this kid coming from. For him to say, I hope they let us play together longer, it means what he experienced in that team, how they played, he enjoyed it, he saw something, he saw what now we are going somewhere. So my wish is Chamba Tese like this, we will get there. Now that's a cue. It gives into the coach. How are they feeling about him? And now the question just asked, you have a finance guy who's supposed to be technical thing. The link here, what do you share link here with Hill Papant? But I'll bet you my favorite pair of sneakers. And I told that you is actually right. My question now is, when we say the guys that we have in Zimbabwe, former players, stars, whatever, that's not that technical. I try to motivate them. And I'm from Chawanda, and I'm Moses Chunga, that you need to go and get a finance guy. I rate Moses Chunga. Coaching wise, talent scouting, that man is levels above Anakawanda. I will tell you, Moses Chunga, I've seen him and I've watched him coach every team he coaches. That man who bring you players, is because he's got an eye, that's most of us don't see. That thing, for you to have that guy, it's the technical side of his mind that works. Work with this guy. Why don't we do that? Why? This is what I'm saying. This is where the capture comes in. Why are always having his name? This guy, all right, his name. I'm going to stop there. His name tells you a lot. Why he finance guy is in the technical side of the team? His name tells you.
Yeah. No,
what do you think, Chichi?
You know what OJ said is so cultivating. Like, I mean, I actually put that on my notes, and I'm going to make it very conversational. And you guys, I want you as vocal as you can. Because how do we have a finance person managing our technical side of things? Guys, I'm a sports journalist who has been into football, who has played football, who has done football, sports management. I mean, how do we have a finance person being the head of our technical team? A technical team, just by the name itself, Arimboda qualifications. You just need a football person.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need even to mince that. You don't need to cultivate anything out of it. We just need Munwe Bora.
Yeah. Then I wonder, kuti that Burundian guy who was brought in, Arkuyedachi, when we have someone else, is he just focusing on my junior structures and coaching certificates? What's he doing? What are the roles there?
They say he's a technical director. So they say. Technical director, which means probably of all groups, whether be it Vakadzi and Komana, my young national team players, and up until to the senior team. Probably
We love
overseas.
throwing names around, aren't we? We love throwing names around, aren't we?
Yeah, and you know what,
We
Ray?
just
You
love throwing names around.
You know what shocked me with that appointment? We are bringing someone from Rwanda to start telling us about Zimbabwean football.
Burundi,
We have had
not even Rwanda.
Burundi. Thank you, OJ. We are bringing someone from Burundi to come home and start telling us about Zimbabwean football. I don't want to throw shade at it, but what is it that has come from Burundi football-wise, guys? You know, what is it that we talk about when we put Burundi on the table? All right. Yeah. And he's coming here to give us instructions and making us run about our local football. Where we have fundis like Taurai Mangwiro. Taurai is so sharp. These are locals. I wouldn't want to say appoint them, but we have people who are sharp, technical directors, even with people like Wilson Mtekede, who have gone through all these CAF and FIFA courses. Bagara, very grinded. Vakuziva. Experience is the best teacher as well. Right? And we have a whole stranger coming to start to acclimatize with the situation at home. Sometimes I feel like a prophet is not honored in his own land. Whilst I do not agree with lots of appointments that can be home-based, I feel like we disrespect our legends. I brought that subject about 3 or 4 consecutive posts on some day to just talk about our legends, our national team players, our former players, and how much we rope them in. You know, that's where we come in, like I'm talking about Tau. Tau Atamba Akocha team Harare City, Triangle, Caps United. He has been there as a national team coach, CAF instructor. Tau is a teacher within CAF settings and badges, right? Why can't you just trust him with the job and support him with the arsenal that he requires for that type for the job? Go self-cultivation yacho investor and giving back into our local legends when we bring someone from Burundi to come and be our technical director of our Zimbabwean football. He actually wants someone to drive him kuenda kuchiredzi. He wants someone to drive him kuenda kuwange because akuziye kuti kunenge kuchipisa. He actually needs to be shown kuti green fuel iri uku tukuenda kusakubva to start from zero. Just because we have this messiah kind of mentality without even supporting anachungwa mamchata, you know,
and you know the interesting thing about it, like with what you said, ukataura zvevanhu kuti kunze handiti, they will agree with you. Some people within my structure, they will agree with you, but they will tell you the same thing as well. Kuti even Zimbabweans outside UK, they treated the same as well. It's almost like muriwe kunze as well. You know, if you're outside Zimbabwe, muriwe kunze as well. In that sort of a state, actually to look at us people who are outside Zimbabwe is people like the one from Burundi. Because, you know, once you start in our sort of putting your nose into certain things, you know, in Zimbabwe, it's like even what was happening in my elections where we ended up like having issues.
And it's very deliberate because how do we have an experience matches every day, scoring every day, playing at the highest level of football in Britain? And we tinomona kagariswa bench. I don't want to say names, you know, we are dissing them. Kagariswa bench ku Zimbabwe. What sort of disrespect is that? So when we end up pitching and supporting these people, Tishita knows about it. It's not like we have a bias or we don't respect people back home. We have to talk about them. It's the same with coaches. Kunema coaches are in Britain are fully qualified. And Kevi, don't be humble about it. You are one of those most qualified coaches whom I feel like kana kuma under 23 be it as an assistant or supporting those varipapo uchiuyawo nema-foreign based ako merging efforts together. You know, don't be humble about it. You know this, and a whole lot more who have had exposure at the highest level. Yeah, competition. And one thing I'll never accept or appreciate is a diss on, be it a coach, a player, arutamba mu EFL Championship, and even at the lower league, lower team, Premier League. Inini kana mnari mu National First Division mu Zimbabwe, rate them better than because ndakutarisa competition, ndakutarisa exposure, ndakutarisa experience. It's not a fluke that people running away in a traceable record from academies, right? Throughout the ranks. Systems in Britain are that clear. Tendai Dari mchitane 34 years. I deserve utamba national team. Sure. And arutotamba back-to-back matches. And he's the captain for his team. Back to,
can you imagine Tendai? Can you imagine, like you mentioned, Tendai, with the Tendai, people would actually diss the captain of Lincoln City with the players that we end up having in our national team. You know, someone who is pulling men of the matches. You know, for Lincoln City, and he wears. Sometimes people, I don't think people realize what it takes to actually have an armband in teams in the UK.
They don't.
Yeah. I don't think
Guys,
people
I gotta
actually
go.
understand
Chichi,
that.
nice talking to you. Keep the fire. Yeah.
See you, Ray.
See you guys.
See you,
Cheers.
Ray.
See you.
I know as well. OJ, we're talking about time as well because obviously someone has got to travel as well. Yeah. But do you want to quickly go on to Farai? You know, maybe talk about Farai.
So that we can brush up. So Farai, our own, I think he's been part of Team Zim UK as a centre back, if I'm right. He's been part of our structures as Zimbabweans in the UK, and I think he's been refereeing in the EFL, and so now I think in the past few weeks he's now graduated to referee in the Premier League, and there's been a bit of controversy from the past game yake after a decision that he made, which I applaud very much because he went against the grain. VAR had encouraged him to look at the decision, and I think 99% of the times the referees have always been going with VAR, but he was very strong and he insisted on keeping the decision that he had made originally. But now we are seeing rumors of people saying, he's been suspended and what, and I don't know why people are dissing him. What's your take on Ezimbo actually refereeing in Premier League and stuff?
Yeah, I support Farai. He has been in the fold for quite a long time. We don't claim him. He's Zimbabwean. He's so much of us, and we are so happy that he's raising our country's flag high as a referee. The reason why I don't agree with people saying he has been benched is even the seasoned referees like Michael Oliver, Anthony Taylor, and a whole lot more that you can talk about. They don't get games every day. They don't get games on every match day. That's the first thing. Secondly, this was Farai's debut in the Premier League. He has been there as an assistant, with cameo roles, assistant roles, but this was his main match. Does it mean that he has to be on the trot the next match? That's not it. Referees work on a rotational system, right? Today you see Michael Oliver refereeing a big match. The next two matches is not on the rota. So I don't think it's because he's being punished for that incident. If you look at it across social media, and generally even me, for my own assessment, not that I was fighting in his corner, but I felt like he was right? And a whole lot more, even the Manchester City fans as well, knew he was right.
Me.
It's not always the case.
We won't listen to you.
Yeah, it's not always the case that it's not always the case that when a referee is sent to the VAR, he has to agree with it, and we saw it. I feel like he was right. He stemmed his own authority, and that's not a punishment that he doesn't have the next fixture. He may be there on the sidelines as an assistant, And remember, these referees also get rest time, like they get free time.
Yeah.
We have had incidences whereby Rhys James plays 2 consecutive matches and he's not even in the team the next match. Not because he's injured, not because there's anything wrong with it, but he's just resting. So these referees also has a system where things are rotational for them. I don't see it as a punishment that he's not officiating the next match. Michael Oliver doesn't officiate every match. Anthony Taylor, we don't see him every game, every fixture. So I'm not taking this as a punishment. And remember, he's more like a grade 1. He's starting, he's aching his space in the prime industry, at the top of his game. So probably it is a time for assessment. Maybe it was more like a trial for him. I wouldn't want to say he's not officiating the next match because they are punishing him for that. I don't think so.
I'll let Al go in first, then I'll say something.
All right, thank you. I think what happened there, I think it was Sun Sport who ran with that narrative first that he had been snubbed for the upcoming matches. But we all know that publication, what it is like. They work on traction.
Yeah, who reads the Sun?
I think then that's where a lot of fans caught up with it, depending which narrative you were following on. He has been snubbed. Then if it suited what you wanted, then they started running with that. But I, for one, I think it was a wrong decision that he stuck to his decision. It was good that he did, because it's refreshing sticking to his guns. On that bit, I agree with him. Those and I own it, and I'm sticking to it. You need a referee who is strong like that, okay? But I think it should have been a penalty, the incident itself. But his decision to stick with his decision, if it does make any sense, I think that was good.
Yeah. Okay. So with me, there's the professional side that I have to look at it, and then there's the personal side as well, because Farah is a friend. So I've been so happy to see him, going the levels that he's gone, especially when you've known someone when he was playing. He played for me. I was his manager at Team Zimbabwe UK. And I actually wanted to make him the captain the following year when he then obviously left. Yeah. And he told me all this because, people think that he just got straight into refereeing, but he actually was working at, is it field officer or something, but he told me this, he said, I've got a job, with the FA compliance officer, I've got the job with the FA and I'm working with the referees and all that. So it came as a shock for me to realize that he's now actually going onto into the refereeing itself. So he's so obviously it's gone from leaps and bounds, and to get to the Premier League, it shows the hard work that he's put into that. Yeah. So as for what he did, I think he was very brave, because it shows the character of the person as well, to be able to say VAR is known for changing decisions that referees have made. And he's saying, but I've seen it differently. The issue with that decision was that it's not objective one. It's a very subjective, decision. And today I was just listening to Oliver Hackett, who used to be the the chief the chief of the referees, and he said that even him, to start with, he thought Farai was wrong, and then when he looked at it again, he was saying, I think he was right. So automatically, that in itself shows you that it's not a straightforward question, sort of a decision. So because it's not as straightforward, then he went with what he believed, was the right decision. And some are going to argue, some are going to. So it's those decisions like a penalty where we say, oh, he's given a penalty, but that was soft. Some referees will give that soft penalty, some won't. But the most important part there is that the fact that he stood up, and said, no, I'm not changing the decision. This is my decision, and I'm going to stick with it. Yeah. Then on the issue of being suspended, I don't want to say much about it. I think sometimes, you don't want to share too much. But personally, I know that it's not. I'm not even making assumptions. I'm not even thinking, oh yeah, but he can't have been. I know. I'm just telling you that it's not. The only thing that I can say to you is that what has happened is what was supposed to happen. He was
Yeah,
not going
it's
to
phenomenal.
be on the lines. He's refereeing the game on Saturday, 12:30 championship. Yeah. He's a new referee in the Premier League, and he's not going to just get games, in there just like that. Even the seasoned referees, like Chichi said, you don't always get a game after game after game. So he's refereeing the game on Saturday at 12:30. That's the game that he has, and there is nothing, zero whatsoever about what
About
people have been saying.
suspension.
I think it's just
Thank
people
you
like
so much for that,
saying
Kirby.
whatever they're
I know
saying.
you guys talk,
Yeah.
so I know you are
Yeah.
credible on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just moving on. So Chichi, I think there's a COSAFA Women's Championship in the coming few weeks. And I know you're passionate about the women's game. And I think the women's game, our women are the only team who have managed to qualify for a global tournament, which is the Olympics. And then on, it seems like they've been neglected, and even the diaspora push that we have with the men, we don't see anything with the ladies. That we do know that we have a couple of players, even in the UK. Mashi was mentioning there are many people who are coming up, but they are ready to play. So what's your take on the state of our women's game? And what you
I'll be very honest. There's been an imbalance in investment and support towards the ladies, and it's been there. It's historical, and sometimes you can't help it. It's just there. If you look at the ladies, sometimes they camp at the ZIFA village there, where they'll be cooking for themselves, eating high firidzi and all, and they don't do the same when the men teams and the male teams are camping. Like when things were normal, when we were hosting home matches, national team yawakomana inenge iri kuPandari Lodge, one of the most expensive places up there in Uptown. They will be maybe staying at Holiday Inn or even at Rainbow Towers. But come national team matches for the ladies, you find them vari kuZIFA Lodge in Mount Hampton there. Quite a distance yekuti kana kuenda kutraining kwacho, the ups and downs that are involved. And itori cooking, usafungoti kuna chef. The boys are being served in the places they are choosing from a buffet. The ladies are cooking for themselves. After training, varikutanga kukodzonga sadza ravo vega. We have seen these things before. Sometimes it's just a sad state. It's a sorry state. Then one thing I need also to highlight about our female football, we have had one coach in a very long time. We have had one coach in a very long time, Queen G15. I know people would say, oh, you don't thrash another woman, but what I'm just saying is my honest opinion. That's not hate related or hate motivated, but I think she has had her time. She has been
Yeah.
I mean, is she the only one? It's just a question. We have had the same coach over and over and over again with no results. This team, yes, Rosenior Mukadzaye. Shika kana semi-finals and for AFCON, even COSAFA and all. Inenge ingori battered. And we are keeping the same coach over and over and over and over again. With our senior men's team, we have changed coaches I don't know how many times in the last 5 years. There was Loga, there was Nies, now we have Mario, he only has 1 year on his contract. Gasashanda, we are on the next one. But with our women national teams, we have one coach. We rotate her despite all the failures. So I'm just posing it to you as, okay, is it because we don't have options? Are we lacking options?
Chichi, how long has she been in?
She's been around for a while. She's been around. I think because we went Kuma Olympics 2016. Mlauz lost his job. There were some funny stories being created around him it was dismissed, and a lot more. So my honest question is she the only one?
I'll answer you, and you probably find it funny that you're going to have a supporter, a fan with what you say for someone who stayed that long, like for with the team Zimbabwe as a coach here. I've been so you so that's why I said you find it fun, because I look at it in this way, if you really serious, about, things, and like I always say, sometimes I say things, even if it means it's going to go against me, I say it because it's factual. Yeah. And there are times when I've just asked, out of the blue, like with even the Team Zimbabwe executive, and I said, do you not think it's time for me to just, not for any reason, but to just step aside, and someone comes in, and obviously that they have not agreed, on that, but at some point it will happen anyway. But the point that I will be making through that is because sometimes in football you just need a different voice.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need someone who does things different, from someone who does things different from the other one who's been there, because it can end up, being so sort of, it's, the repetition, unless if you're really someone who is consistently changing the way that you are, it becomes difficult, because
and being
players are dealing with
successful.
almost the same person, the same issues, the same identity, and all that, So, sometimes decisions like making changes, it's not always about whether you've failed or not, but sometimes it's just about freshening up as well. So especially, with the way that the Zimbabwean football women's, team has been, I think sometimes it's just good, because one of the issues as well is the difference that football coaching for women used to be almost like exclusive for women. And now, actually, people are looking at whether it's male or female, you just bring in, the person who can actually make the team better. It doesn't matter whether they're male or female, because that's the way to go, because it's not about a figurehead. It's about someone who actually it starts taking, the Zimbabwean women's team, into a different and positive direction.
Yeah, that's true. I think, do you have anything more to share on that one before we go to the final thing and brush it?
Nothing much. Like I said, this is not a go on her. We have seen what she has done. We respect her as one of our female football legends. My question is done. Probably she has actually reached a plateau. She can't cultivate anymore. You know what I mean? So I'm really thinking, have we run out of coaches to support our female footballers? You know what I mean? It's not a go on her. It's also questioning the system that's backing her as well. There are also situations whereby when the coach has been consistent with the team, they are promoted probably to be technical directors or whatever to support what's coming up. Then we just have fresh ideas, fresh inputs, a new coach, a new face, who will see things differently. That's what I'll pause when it comes to our national team for the ladies.
Yeah, that's right. I think the whole structure of women's football needs a relook. We've seen, I think, the start of the last season, it seemed like teams had been forced to have a women's team that they have under them, but it seemed like by the end of the season, we still had a few active women's team in that league. It seems like it's a mess generally, and no money is trickling to that side of the game. So as much as the coach is not improving anything, but she also doesn't have any pool to pick from. It's like a poison well that she has to drink from, because Abatorina League is actually competitive. It's only the rentals.
Sorry, OJ. What surprises me in that regard, now that you just mentioned it, FIFA inemari. FIFA has money for FIFA Forward projects. FIFA has money for women football specifically. FIFA has been very much huge and big towards female football development, be it from coaching, my assistants, my players, player development, female resources. Saka, I know where paya in Zim, when it's not supporting the already structured, kana kuti matima acho madiki ari kustruggle within my clubs, kana kuti vatomboita effort to set up. I know her rentals, my teams, my army sides, prisons, Chichi, very, very established. right?
Yeah.
Why not support the vulnerable? Where does the money for FIFA women and football development goes?
Yeah.
It-
Yeah. So
Good
it's a question to you, ZIFA. Mari yevasikana iri kuenda kupi? Vasikana, we don't see where it's working. So where is it going? We have had to head people begging the likes of Magaya for money so that they continue running their clubs. But where is the money that comes specifically for the ladies going? Maybe ndokushanda kuenda unokemba kupolo kwani nekutebe. Yeah, we don't know. Yeah. Just rounding up because it's just gonna much gonna 3 hours. But yeah, we have to go. So just rounding up, I think it was a good weekend for some of our foreign-based players, including our favorite Zimbabwean striker, Ngwenya, who came from the bench and scored 2 goals and he had an assist,
and
I
an
think.
assist.
In the weekend, yes. We had Junior Zindoga. Yeah, the goal scored by Junior. Wow.
That was a beautiful goal.
I haven't seen, okay, the only other Zimbabwean that I've seen scoring that type of goal is Tawanda Maswanhise during the Premier Sports Cup. It was a really good killer from Zindoga. And we saw a start for July. Of course, in Sukuzonke, Tawanda, he will always score every day. He did score again this weekend whilst
and
Mario
then
was
we've got
watching.
the top scorer, Galloway.
Yeah. Then Galloway, wow, I didn't know that he had that in him, but he's on a scoring run. So 3 goals within the past month for Galloway. Mashi had a start as a substitute appearance. Then Jordan started and he also assisted. I think Garanganga played as well. We've got that young man who came from Ireland after a couple of issues, Shane Marod. He's doing very well in Bosnia, where the other young man, Junior, Argujika Mari Adlock, we don't know how far true it is. He's also having trials at the same club in Shane Marod. So it was a good week for some of our people. Your favorite player, how do you see it? And Chichi, you can also come in with that. Yeah.
You see, mfano waya ndakamona achitamba, I think tournament under 23 or something.
Yeah.
You can see his movement. Mfano waya is a proper number 9. Even second goal raka goals, I think against
it was a Poachers,
Betway Premiership. It was a Poachers goal. Yeah, to strike ari 100 meters. The wing are on the other side over Eswa in front of goal. He beats the defender to it and taps in. And he's a poacher, he's a goal poacher. Even coach wake akaaknowledge kuti mfana he should be scoring more than he is right now. Kuchinzi angabva injury, but I feel kuti national team should start including one. I was surprised by the inclusion Zindoga. That was the first time andakamuona achapia pama Warriors kuAFCON. Ndo zvimwe zvinhu zvatinofanira kuita applaud, because nguva zhinji tinoita sei tinenge tichishoropodza akasiya uyu, but akaincluda Zindoga nokuti vanhu vazhinji, myself included, didn't even know him, and then takutoona kuti mufana waya is actually a bowler. But the coach knew about him. So he has data on many players. So, but it was good. Akagwesa 2 goals and an assist, and it will be good if he remains fit and makes it to the next AFCON final.
Yeah. Chichi, any comments on this?
It's just that I've been a bit busy in the last 2 or 3 days, and Wednesdays are hectic for me. But yeah, we are visible out there, and we need to make, the noise. I'm so happy about Jalai. I started seeing that boy when he was around 13, 14, and he was playing for Chemanza High School. He used to play. He was a regular, actually, for 3, 4 consecutive seasons playing that Coca-Cola tournament. And the Chemanza Aikona. During those days, they used to compete with the likes of Anapamshana, Naimwe Kuwedza so. And he's someone I've seen, like I've literally seen, over the years. Their coach Ainzi Nevermandu, is one player I know over seasons, Ashinitai, and I'm really happy for him because his breakthrough came at probably at the right time. And I'll tell you this, Jalai's discipline consistency, and effort, you won't be at Durban City for a year. Is it Durban City?
Yeah.
You will surely move.
Yeah. We hope he does secure the move because he's certainly a class player, and
Good
we
lad.
wish him
Good
all the
lad.
best.
Yeah.
And we hope by upcoming international break we'll have all our foreign-based players, including the like of Mashi and Jordan and Karanganga, so that the coach can have a full squad at his disposal. Yeah.
I'm really looking
Any
forward
comments on
to
that,
that.
Kevin?
I'm really looking forward to that lineup.
I think the interesting thing with what the coach is doing, I think he's going to. I feel that is going to cause a bit of controversy again because as Zimbabweans we love controversy, don't we? The reason why I'm saying that is because having that database is reminding me of Germany. Yeah, Germany. When they realized that they had to sort of regroup, reset. Yeah, and they got rid of all these. Supposedly well-known names, big names, and they started with the young ones, who struggled, the first tournament. But after that, that team became like untouchable. Yeah. So I feel like, with what he's doing now and going to see these young players, especially with the way that he likes playing his football identity. Yeah. He's going to need players who are going to be very athletic as well. Yeah. So I can see that with this database, he might frustrate a lot of people because some people based in Zimbabwe, normally they are so attuned to local players and there might not be that many local players as they like, which causes a problem because they don't want, more diasporians more than the local players. And also, even with the local players as well, you might see that some well-known names might not be considered if he comes across, like, say, some players who are in America who we didn't know, like, Chichi just said, but he's got a list of players that we've never heard of. But if he sees that they're doing well, he might look at them and think, oh, you know what? In the last AFCON squad, I had A, B, C, D from diaspora, but actually this one is better. I'm going to pick this. I think the bottom line is that we're going to have to bear and grin, and if we're going to give the coach a time, then that means he's going to disappoint us sometimes. He's not going to choose our favorites. But if we give him time to deal with whoever he has there, then hopefully, Zimbabwe can, have a good crack, on the next tournaments. Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Chichi, we have kept you for so long, but thank you so much
I'm
for
gonna be home
honoring
at
us.
10.
No, we'll check
Thank
if you're
you. Thank
home
you so
safe.
much for being here.
Yeah,
Thank you
no
so
Money
much.
worries.
money to drag you. Yeah. So, but yeah. Thanks so much. It's been it's been away from this being professional. It's been quite pleasant. I think there's a lot that has been learnt as well. From you being here as well. So thanks for
Definitely.
everything that you've said today.
Yeah.
And
Very
thank you for
cultivating. Very
yeah.
cultivating. Sometimes it's not because you know everything. You see, even when I'm sharing publicly, I even pick comments from people because I don't know everything. I
Yeah.
even share, screenshot what people are saying to make it subject for conversations. I'm a
Yeah.
conversation starter, whether they like it or not. One also lady, whether they've bigger numbers or so.
We're recording. We'll stop soon.
Yeah,
We're
it's
just
okay.
brushing up.
Yeah, technical director.
Yeah.
Don't
He's a
usazoshika.
guy.
Whatever. Guru in finance, but we're having as a technical director. Trust me, you'll see that. I'm gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
And a whole lot more very cultivating ideas we should talk about, we should make publicly. We should make public.
Yeah. Just a quick word, on that, on what you said. Sometimes, the reason why it's important to have, from a technical director or someone who has that technicality, because probably they've played, is because someone who is in that position has got to have a feel. They've got to be able to understand what it takes to be a footballer. The joys, but the stresses, what the difficulties, that a player faces. Because if you take, say, for instance, we're talking about Bambo, yeah, and you take Moses Chunga and put him in there. He knows when a player is going through a tough period and all that. He knows how to deal with that because he's been there. He knows exactly how that player, to then bring in someone who's in finance, what does he understand about, being in that sort of position when he's never been?
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
it's been good.
Yeah, it's been great. So thank you, Chichi. You're always
Thank you
welcome.
very
You're always welcome here. This is your home.
Thank
so
you.
have a
Thank you,
safe drive.
guys.
And
Okay.
Thank you,
Cheers, then.
Chichi.
Cheers out.
Cheers.
Safe
Cheers,
All right,
journey.
OJ.
someone
Okay.
fill my tank. Someone
Bye.
has to fill my tank.